Okay, today we are going to be working more Pythagorean Theorem problems. So we're going to call it more Pythagorean Theorem. All right, so more Pythagorean Theorem. Today, nope. You're going to be given the dimensions a little bit differently than you were yesterday. You're just going to be given them as A and B, or A and C, or B and C. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem says that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared for all right, and this is the abbreviation for parentheses, or for triangles. A squared plus B squared equals C squared for all right triangles. So if you are asked to find the missing length, and you're given two of the lengths, if you're given that A is equal to 1 and that B is equal to 2/3, obviously you're looking for C. So you've already got the information, so you're going to substitute. All right, so in this case, 1 squared plus 2/3 squared equals C squared. So now, 1 squared is 1 plus, get a calculator please, and type in 2/3. And then there's a button that is 2 above the 8. If you push that button and hit equals, it squares 2/3 for you. Now, yours could be in a decimal form, and if you push the second button and then the bottom left arrow, 4/9 equals C squared. Okay? Now, this 4/9 is still in your calculator, and you've got to add it to 1. So just push +1 and hit equals. And you got 1 and 4/9 equals C squared. So, remember from yesterday, now your last step, if 1 and 4/9 equals C squared, you have to find the square root of each side. But this number is still sitting in your calculator, the 1 and 4/9. So you can push the button 2 above the 9, the square root button, and it will give you the square root of 1 and 4/9. So 1.2 is equal to C. Okay? So there's the third side, or the hypotenuse, of that triangle. Any questions on any of those steps? Very good, very good. Now, you're going to have a couple of problems on your worksheet today. Let's see. They're word problems, which are related to the Pythagorean theorem. The first one is a jogger problem, all right? And it says that a jogger A jogger goes 3/4 of a mile north. Then turns west. And finishes .7 miles from the starting point. How far west did he jog? So here's the application of the Pythagorean theorem into a real life situation. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to picture the coordinate plane as a compass. And here's what it would look like. If this is your coordinate plane, okay? And now, think of a compass where this is north and this is south, and here's east and west. And look, it says that a jogger goes 3/4 of a mile north. So if we start at the origin, the middle of this compass, the center of this compass, and we go 3/4 of a mile, 3/4 of a mile north. So that means we're going up here. And this distance is 3/4 because we went north. It says then he turns west. So he turns west and he finishes 1.7 from the starting point. So watch. He turns west and this guy goes west. And then he finishes. And it says that when he finishes, that he's 1.7 from the starting point. So if you take this finish and connect it to where he started, okay, you're forming a right triangle. This was where he started. And it says that he finishes 1.7 from starting point. So this is 1.7. Right? Does that make sense? Do you guys see the application there to a right triangle problem? So if you convert this 3/4, or you just leave everything the way that it is, and this is your 90-degree angle. If this is your 90-degree angle, now you can do what you did yesterday and you can label the sides. Yesterday we said that the side across from the 90 is always C. And the other two are A and B. Okay? So now, A squared plus B squared, which is 3/4, equals C squared, which is 1.7 squared. So A squared plus, in your calculator, 3/4 squared is 9/16 equals 1.7 x squared, which is 2.89. Now, if you'll do this along with me, I can show you how to make it real easy using the calculator. If the last number in your calculator should be 2.89, you're going to subtract 9/16 from each side. So a squared is equal to, the 2.89 is still sitting in there. If you push minus 9 fraction button 16 and hit equals, you get 2.3275. Leave that last number in your calculator. And then you're going to square root each side. And when you do, you're left with a by itself. And since this value is still in there, you can push the square root button. It's 2 above the 9. And you get 1.5. So 1.5. So when this jogger turned west, how far west did he jog? He jogged 1.5 miles west. Yep. There's your answer right there. Okay, so does everybody see how to take it from the word problem and put it onto a coordinate plane and use it and use directions? Second type of problem like this today says a construction worker. A construction worker is cutting along the diagonal. Of a rectangular board. (15 feet long, or let's say 18 feet long and 12 feet wide. It's a big board. What will be the length of the cut? What will be the length of the cut? So look, construction worker is cutting along the diagonal of a rectangular board. So if you draw a rectangular board, here's your rectangular board. The board is 18 feet long. It's 12 feet wide. He's cutting along a diagonal. So this is the diagonal. And this is a 90-degree angle because it's a rectangle. And in a rectangle has four 90-degree angles. So hopefully you're seeing the Pythagorean Theorem application. The side across from the 90 is always side C, your hypotenuse. Your other two sides are A and B. Bless you. So substitute. 18 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. So 18 and push the X squared button is 324. If you push plus 12 and the X squared button, it'll say 144. And now if you hit equals, the calculator will add those two numbers together for you, and you won't have to write them in there or type them in. So it'll tell you that 468 equals C squared. The 468 sitting in your calculator screen right now. So if you push the square root button, 21.6 is equal to C. You're going to square root both of these. So what will be the length of the cut? The length of the cut will be 21.6, and this will be feet. Does anybody have any questions on either of those word problems or the first example I did? All right, your assignment for today is going to be handout page 617. Do this on a separate sheet of paper, please. I'm going to collect it at the end of the period. You're doing problems 15 through 22, and be sure to show all your work.